transition process?
Yes, ma'am. So exactly like when I started my transition process, I started my transition process in 2019. I went through the process with the Army, so it was relatively easy for me. Once I went through a few appointments with a medical provider, as far as like a psychologist, therapy sessions and whatnot, that's when I was able to. That's when they were able to let me know, hey, you have gender dysphoria. So we went from there.
Okay, can I stop you right there? Can you explain to our listeners what that is?
Gender dysphoria is basically when you you dislike a certain part about your body that's connected to your assigned gender at birth. For me, this was my top chest area, looking at myself without a shirt on, seeing that and seeing other areas in my body that reminded me, hey, you're born female, like i.e. having menstrual cycles. That was always a struggle for me in the past during those times of the months and stuff like that. So having those extreme negative thoughts about these things, I'm not just saying, oh, I had a period, my stomach hurt. No, when I know that in the past, when I knew that this time was coming, it was deep for me mentally. Oh, wow. You know, looking at myself in the mirror after a shower, that's deep for me mentally, seeing that. So that's how I knew I needed to seek guidance and help and talk about these things that's going on in my mind. Why am I feeling like this? Why do I not like myself? And it was more than just, physique. Remember I told you, it took me 5 years of contemplation. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just, I'm just not shaped how I want to. So I got in the gym and built myself up, and it still wasn't enough. So that's what I meant. That's when I found out, gender dysphoria. You don't like this. It's more than just your physique. I was built up. I liked how I look. My stamina was there, but it was still just something more, and that's what that is.
Good. Thank you for breaking that down. Okay. And you can continue telling us about your transition.
Yes, ma'am. So I left off. After I got diagnosed with gender dysphoria, soon after that, we had to get some paperwork done in the military to pass up. They let my chain of command know at that time that, hey, this person is transgender. They will be transitioning, basically. Notifying my chain of command, and then after that, it was just smooth sailing. They started me out on testosterone shots. Taught me, how to inject myself with my testosterone, and ever since, just it's been excuse me, I messed up.
You fine. Keep going.
But yeah, ever since then, it's just been continuous checkups and just periodic checkups on a daily, not on a daily, but monthly.
So the process. How long does it take? Anywhere from several months to several years?
So I'll break that down. As far as like how long will it take for you to start receiving changes? Start seeing changes? Because I'm pretty sure that's what most people want to know. Like, so for me, about 3 months, that's when I say I started noticing changes. 3 months, I started noticing my voice deepening and a little bit of facial hair and things like that. But you will notice changes all throughout your transition for the rest of your life. From my understanding, from doing my research on older trans individuals, like I said, I'm about 3 years in now, and I'm still noticing changes.
Okay.
So yes, ma'am. I think that I don't think that it'll be something that you'll continuously notice drastic changes for years and years to come. But in about the first year, 2 years, 3 years, that's when you'll notice the most drastic changes.
Yeah, so because you were in the military, so was it easier for you to get the proper treatment because of the benefits that you get from the military?
Yes, ma'am. I definitely had access to benefits quickly.
Okay.
For someone who probably does not have Medicaid or Medicare or a lower value of it, it may be difficult for them to receive the type of gender affirming care that they want.
Okay, because I was wondering about that because I know we brought up health care, and then I know you were in the military, so I was thinking that you would probably have some of the better care, being that you get those type of benefits, and that's good that they don't discriminate in that area, that you were able to get the health care benefits that you needed to help you transition. So why do you think society gives people who do not follow gender norms such a tough time?
I think society gives people that don't follow gender norms a tough time because most people in society don't like change, and this is part of change. This is part of the change that's continuing to change and part of the continuation they don't want to see. The same way as 2008 when President Obama got elected. That was a change that a lot of people did not want to see, but it still happened and it continued, and he served another 4 years on top of that.
Right.
In relation to this, I feel like people don't like to see things that they're not comfortable seeing that they didn't grow up around. I'm going to tell a quick story real quick because I also cut hair, like I said. Just 2 days ago, I was cutting this guy's hair. Quick description of him. He was probably older, 50, 60-year-old Caucasian male gentleman. Like I said, we in Tennessee, Clarksville, Tennessee, I'm cutting his hair, and we just get to talking, and he was telling me about, I really can't stand seeing guys together with other guys and males together, females together with other females and X, Y, and Z. It just really bothers me. I didn't grow up like that. Mind you, he doesn't know me from a can of paint. He just walked in as a walk-in to get his hair cut. I'm cutting his hair. I'm like, listen to him. Yes, sir. He was just like, yeah, so I don't like, seeing that. Why can't they just do that in private? Or, they passed a law and now they can get married. And I don't have any problem with gays or lesbians, but just they shouldn't be able to get married. They should call it something else. Instead of marriage, they should just call it a bonding unit. They shouldn't be able to wear wedding rings. So I asked him, why does that bother you so much? Is that bothering you? Or them doing these things? Is that causing you not to be able to pay your bills? Or other than not sleep at night, why is this such an issue? It's because he doesn't want to see that change. But some people are just like, stone age under a rock. You can't make them change.
Right. That's most definitely. Can't make some people change. And I'm glad you brought that up because yesterday I attended the Franklin Pride. And there were actually protesters out there. And I got to thinking,
wow.
If you don't want to be around this type of environment, why you stand outside protesting?
Exactly.
You had to go look up this event, come way out here to this event, make it make sense.
Look how much energy they put into something that they hate.
That you hate. I was just like, wow, like really, people really do this. You, like you said, put this much energy into something that you hate.
Exactly.
When you could just come on in these gates and figure out that we're all one.
Exactly.
That's the part that it baffles me all the time because I'm like, why are you putting in something that you don't have to be around?
Don't even have to attend and go there, but yet they took the time to make the signs, to get their own time to set up and protest.
So basically, you invested in pride, like you said, because you spent your money to make a sign, a protesting sign. It's just really crazy how the world, like we were talking about how society views things. And like you said, if you take away the label and just talk to the person, guess what? We all one. We're going to have some differences. We're not going to always agree.
Exactly.
Now, what I will say is that you can't push your agenda on me. That's something different that I will speak on that and say, I get it from that viewpoint. If somebody is trying to push their agenda or push up on you, then I can see you saying, oh, no, I don't want,
Absolutely.
If you've ever been in that situation. But to come into somebody else's space for no reason, just because, like you said, it could just be old ways of thinking and that you just need to involve yourself or evolve to the new way of society. Like I just get baffled sometimes at people's thoughts because if I don't like something, guess what? I'm gonna stay on away from that. I'm gonna respectfully respect you and just stay away. It's nothing wrong. It costs you $0, people. Let me say that again. It costs you $0 to respect people. Stay in your lane.
Yes,
now. If you are curious about something, respectfully ask and get to know a person. I didn't know Javahn, like we just, actually I just met you today about a few minutes ago before we did this interview. Of course we talked over the phone or whatnot, but I didn't know you. You were referred to me by someone, and
yes,
you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to have, and told you I wanted to have you on the podcast to have a conversation because I want to get to understand. It's nothing wrong with that. But oftentimes, it's just, I don't know. It just gets to a point where we just don't want to understand it. We just want to stay under that, what I call the rock, or just be mean. Some people, let me just say, some people just mean-spirited, hell. It is what it is. Some people are just mean-spirited. There's no way around it. We can't get them to understand. We can't get them to halfway understand. So we just have to say, okay, you have it. But it does not give you a right to be disrespectful toward anyone. And I said what I said. Yes, most definitely. So, do you believe there should be better laws to protect the trans community? And if so, what laws would you like to see in place for the protection of trans people?
Yes, I do think that there should be more laws, especially the trans youth. There have been laws and policies that have been passed to restrict gender affirming health care for people under the age of 18. Like I said before, in 12 states, and Tennessee is one of them. Mm-hmm. There are 4 states that is kind of like a refugee safe place that do offer protection laws and protection bills so that transgender youth can receive health care.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you this question. A lot of times I hear about the trans community being attacked. How do you feel about the trans community being attacked? When I say attacked, it could be via just hatred, period, or gun violence.
Yes, I do think especially trans females, they get attacked a lot, especially from what I see in the world in the northern states and northern states and like out of country countries. Like certain countries do not absolutely agree with any form of LGBT. But I do believe that there should be laws set in place to protect our transgender youth, especially here in America.
And I think the same. I think everybody deserves the same protection. And a lot of times people tend to overlook other people's identities and just kind of want to push it up under a rug. And I think that's unfair because we all deserve protection and laws. And oftentimes, same equality, most definitely. I told you I get baffled a lot by things because I'm like, okay, when we're confronted with these issues, why do lawmakers make it so hard? I don't feel like it should be that complicated.
I do agree with that. Yes, ma'am. I feel like, especially, for instance, speaking on the military, for instance, I want to go back to that. It wasn't always just as easy in the military to transition. It was a point in time before I joined, there was don't ask, don't tell. And at that point, you couldn't even be openly gay, openly lesbian, let alone openly trans. That's a whole nother level of openness for some people. So it's taking time to get to where we are today with the military transgender healthcare, and I'm pretty sure with the transgender youth healthcare laws across all 50 states, it's going to take time. Like I said, there's only 4 states right now that's like refugee places that are really good places for transgender people of all ages to get healthcare from.
Yeah. So how was your treatment, like your personal treatment in the military? Speaking about actually receiving treatment, it was great. I had no problems receiving my health care, my testosterone shots or anything like that. Never really have ran out or had to go prolonged periods of times without it or anything like that. So I would say it was pretty good. So how did your peers treat you and your commanders, or how did they actually treat you once you start transitioning?
So I've had a few chain of command since I've transitioned. None of them have given me any issue addressing me as the pronoun that I identify as. Okay, and what pronoun do you identify as? Male. Okay, male. Yes, okay. Ma'am. So everything pretty much since it's been kind of, I don't want to say probably like smooth sailing. You've had some hardships, correct? As far as like paperwork and things like that, things taking a little bit longer than I expected to, but I feel like everyone that kind of goes through these same things go through that. Outside of that, I would say my experience, yes, luckily I've been lucky enough to where my experience has been pretty much smooth sailing, and I haven't had too many bumps in the road from like society or anything like that. Okay. But I know that some people do go through these hardships in certain states, and they do have a hard time receiving medical care close to them. They may have to travel far or vice versa. Okay, and I know you said you identify as male. Yes, so is it important to you that people get your pronouns correct? Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Because I know sometimes there are some people that refuse to address people with the correct pronouns. They tend to want to just, like, say somebody's been knowing you before you transition. They want to just, be like, she. Do you ever feel like you're being disrespected, or you just feel honestly because that person has known you so long, it's just hard for them to
correct the pronoun?
I want to break that down in two different type of persons.
Okay.
So if the person is, because it's happened to me with two different types of